Hello there and welcome to The Generational Gamer. In this video we're going to be talking about Taito Milestones 3. In it you have a collection of 10 games that are arcade archives and function just like them. What I mean by that is that each of them has the same exact menu that a normal arcade archive would have. Allow me to demonstrate with Rastan for a moment. Upon pressing the minus key, you will get this type of menu. If you've ever played an arcade archive before, you will see this and it will look very, very familiar. In any case, the only real difference here is that you can go back to the title screen as opposed to just going back to the game. So if I have to pick, the best game on the collection is easily Rastan Saga 3, which they call Warrior Blade on this. I like Growl as well, which is called Runark. I don't get that name either. Bubble Bobble and Rainbow Island, they're pretty decent. They're not my type of game, but they're pretty cool. I don't care about Championship Warrior. I'm not into wrestling. Cadash I've never liked. Dead Connection was a pleasant surprise. I've never played a game like that before, and I really did enjoy it. And last, Rastan Saga 2. Never liked that game. I don't think it plays well. I don't like the Genesis version. I don't like any of them. But the arcade is definitely the best of the group. So now I'm going to actually go through each one and any memorable ports. Let's get started. Upon starting each game, it gives you the basic controls, as you can see right here. Just click the A button and you'll proceed to the next part, and now you're looking at the game. Every game also has a manual. You hit L1 to insert a coin, and you hit R1 to start the game. Now, to be perfectly honest, I never played the arcade version prior to this game. I've always played the NES game. In fact, let's take a quick look at it so you can see the vast difference between these two. It's actually a really good port for the NES. In fact, so good, I'd venture to say many of you would agree that this may even be the superior version. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's switch back to the arcade game that actually came with this collection. So we have 9 other games to get to. I'm just going to keep going from left to right and top to bottom. Next up, Rainbow Island. Here's the manual. Pause if you want to see it. And let's start the game. I have never gotten into this one. I can't play it. It just does not agree with me. But you may be different, so take a look at it. Very similar to Bubble Bobble. There's good reason for it. It's part of the story. Anyway, as you can see, you can trap enemies in this one, but still along the same lines. After you hit them with your rainbow, then you kick them and you move on. So I'll show a little bit of gameplay, and then we'll go to the next game. Next up, we're looking at Cadash, another game that's not really on my high priority list to play. What you may notice is I'm actually focusing on the games I don't care for too much before I get to the ones I really do like. So I want to end on a positive note. We're going to go quickly through the manual, and then we will see some gameplay and then move on to a different game. This is also available on the Sega Genesis. I didn't bother recording anything for that because I don't like the game. It's also on the PC Engine, which I also didn't record. This is about where I lost patience with the game and turned it off. Next up, we're at Championship Wrestling. I am not a fan of wrestling at all. I know that may be detrimental to this video, but honesty is the best policy. So pick your character and beat the hell out of the other one. I must be honest that I do like the Andre the Giant inspired character here. So this is a little bit of the gameplay. Take a look and then we'll move on.
Ready, wrestle! 1, 2!
So next up is one of the first ones I really liked, which is Thunder Fox. After that, we'll do Growl, which is called something else here, and then Dead Connection. I'm saving the Rastan trilogy for the end. So the first thing I thought of when I saw this game was this is a reskin of Ninja Saviors, or Ninja Warriors as it was originally called. I personally prefer the new version, but Ninja Warriors is a damn good game and a 3-screened arcade game. So I love that level 2 is a shoot 'em up. It's pretty cool too. I like the vehicle too. And I immediately get through this. It's not very difficult. And then you go back to a different style gameplay. It's a really fun game. This is the first one I really liked from the collection. Next up is Growl, or Runark as they call it here. Basically, you are saving animals from hunters. The graphics on the arcade version are really good, and it's multiplayer. It's definitely an improvement from the Genesis port, which I'm going to show you right here. All things considered, the Genesis port's pretty good. It just pales in comparison to the arcade, as you'll see in a moment. And now back to the arcade.
Drop dead, you scum! You won't get away with this.
So now we're looking at Dead Connection. This one completely surprised me. I was not expecting much out of it, and this was actually a really fun game. It kind of reminded me of Sunset Riders, only single screen type of Sunset Riders. Anyway, let's take a look at it, and then we'll move on to the Rastan trilogy.
Hands in the air! Everyone freeze!
And now we're up to the first Rastan. Now this game in 1987 was quite impressive for its time. You take on a Conan the Destroyer type of person, and you just destroy everything in your path. It got a pretty decent Sega Master System port. In fact, let me show you for a few seconds what that looks like. It is surprisingly good, given the power of the hardware. And now back to the arcade. Now, based on how much I like the original Rastan, when I saw that Rastan Saga 2 was available for the Sega Genesis, I jumped on it. And you know what? It sucked. Take a look. Everything is a mess here. The controls are sluggish, the graphics are awful, the gameplay sucks, even the music's bad. Take a listen to that for a few seconds. Unfortunately, the arcade game isn't any better, so I'm going to show you that in a moment too. I can see that the music is better. Unfortunately, that is where the benefits really end. Everything else I said is 100% still true. Let's not waste any more time on this game and move on to the third, which I think is the best game of the collection. Rastan Saga 3, called Warrior Blade in this game, and also for whatever reason that was its official title, was a multi-screen game, and it looks badass, especially with a modern widescreen display. This is Darius style, where you have multiple screens lined up together. Now I am playing as a barbarian for a very specific reason. This game is very similar to, that's right, Golden Axe. Take a look at a little gameplay and then we'll go right into Warrior Blade. So at the beginning, Golden Axe is a bit more colorful. This one you're clearly playing as Rastan. I think the graphics on it are far better, the music is good. It definitely looks better than the 2 previous games in the series. You can see I'm moving across, it looks like 3 screens on this particular game. Easy first stage, but now look at this. You get to choose where you want to go. Kinda cool. Now I'm going to choose the ship because I like ships. Clearly doesn't look like a ship. By the way, this level looks almost identical to a level in Golden Axe, but I digress. And some of these fish dudes look like it too. Even the go, instead of having a go with the arrow, it is a go with an axe on Golden Axe. Same type of thing. Cool game though. I really do like this one. In fact, take a look at it, listen to it for a moment, and let me know what you think, and then I'll come back. And now we're at our first major enemy, sometimes called a boss, and that is the weirdest thing I have ever seen. But we're getting to that ship. Let's beat it, and then get on board. And now we're on that ship. We have similar enemies. Look at that. We're fighting against water-based creatures and jumping fish. We're still collecting stuff. Now this part initially confused me. I'm like, where do you go? It says up. I'm jumping everywhere. I'm walking back and forth for some reason. And then I realized you just have to climb up the chain.
Es gibt keinen Ausweg. Keinen.
Follow this path.
And now let's go up the steps, fight some new enemies, and then go find a really strange boss.
Hier kommst du nicht heraus.
Look at this. It did not take Rastan long to meet somebody and get crabs. See what I mean? And because I recorded way too much footage for this game through the magic of editing, we're just going to skip to another level altogether. Now this one's kind of cool. I like the flying aspect of it. But overall, I can't show the whole game, and if I did, you'd be sitting here forever. Now, I would appreciate that, but I'm a realist. So, overall, I have to say, this is by far my favorite, which is why I spent the most time on it. I do like the original Rastan, and I like the other games that I featured and said as much. The earlier ones, not as much. I do like Bubble Bobble out of all the early ones the most, but I have to say Growl and Dead Connection and Thunder Fox, they are by far my favorite for this collection. Now whether or not that makes it worthwhile financially, figure each game's roughly $8 when you buy them individually. Now Rastan Saga 3 has not been released as an independent arcade archive. If it is one day, great. You can justify, definitely at least get this one. I do not recommend number 2 at all. I like that it's an arcade archives collection as a whole. There are better games than others on here, and there's some stinkers, but that's just part of a collection. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and have a good one.